Hey, you're watching CoolAznTutorials, and today we're going to learn how to do halos from my friend Alejandro, aka CoolMaster2, who just came back from England.
Yo, what's up? This is Alejandro, and I've been dancing for about 4.5 years. Today we're going to be learning how to do halos, and halos are actually one of my personal favorite power moves because you can get in and out of footwork as well as power moves, and it really makes your sets and style really intricate. So let's get down to it. So before we learn halos, we're going to have some prerequisites that you must know in order to perform a halo move. These are windmills, baby freeze, chair freeze, headstand, and the icy ice. Before we learn how to do the halo, we have to understand the theory behind the halo and its movement. Number one thing that you have to first understand is halo is a mix between the headspin and the windmill. The headspin is on a 90-degree plane, whilst the windmill is on a 0-degree plane. The halo is exactly in between it, it's at 45 degrees, so when you actually see people do halos, it's exactly at a slanted point rather than at a flat or a vertical point. Now, another important thing to realize that in halos, you have to spin on the ring side of your head. So it's not like a headspin when you spin on the center of the head, but rather on the ring. This is important because if you follow the track of your ring of the head, then that's essentially where the halo is going to be traveling as you spin from one halo to another, to another, to another. And the third thing that's very important to realize about halos is I like to think of halos as air flares that are stabbed and you're doing spinning on your head. If you think of air flares, they're always sweeping up in the motion. Always sweeping up. The same thing applies when it comes to halos because halos themselves, like I said, aren't the same as headspins, flares, or windmills. So essentially you have to understand that they all have a sweeping motion rather than a kicking motion that's more horizontal. The first step to actually learning the halo is be able to get the windmill to baby freeze solid. Now this is a very important transition move because it's it's allowing your body to be able to control and catch into your baby freeze and get ready to set up for an halo. I'm going to demonstrate really quickly because it's a very important transition move. After you get the windmill to baby freeze, you got to be able to transition from a windmill to a chair freeze. This exercise is essentially going to teach you how to transition from a baby, which is stab on your side, to an air chair stab. This is important because this position of stab is essentially where you're going to be able to push off from the halo. I'm going to demonstrate really quickly how you're going to do that. So you do the windmill to the chair freeze. A lot of people, they try to push off in the halo in the baby freeze position stab and it doesn't get them around. So you've got to have it in the back where it makes it a lot easier. It's the same thing when the air flip. When you do the pike, you have to hold it all the way to the end and then come over. Same thing applies here. Just wait to the end and more like a air chair stab. Alright, after you get to windmill to chair freeze, everything's easy so far, but now is where it's going to get a bit complicated. The third part to learning how to do halo and setting it up properly is the elevated position. And this is basically in the same chair freeze, but you're going to keep your legs up. I'll show you what I mean. So this is your normal average chair freeze, and this is what I mean in the elevated freeze. Now this freeze is really important because this is the final freeze that you're going to be in when you launch off for your halo. When you finish your first windmill, I want you to sweep and lock in into this elevated freeze position. So I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so after you get the windmill to the elevated chair freeze, which is basically an icy ice, you're ready to launch yourself with the actual halo. Now this step is the most important part, just like an air flip. The sweeping and getting up to the highest point is the very most important part. In this part, I want you to sweep first before you actually push. A lot of people think that because they want to get to the top of the head really quickly and spin, they push first before they kick. And as a result, this actually screws the halo because the form is you're getting too vertical before you can actually spin. The key to halo and keeping an exactly perfect 45-degree angle is to sweep up first and then push. Watch my right leg, which is trying to indicate right now. As you can see, I really emphasize sweeping up with my right leg before I pushed off. I'm going to say that 70% of the power is going to be coming from the leg, whilst 30% is coming from the arm. So don't rely too heavy on your arm, otherwise you won't get any spin. The kick is going to give you the rotation. The push is going to give you the height. And that's a very important thing to realize. Alright, you're in the last stage of learning how to do the halo. Now that you have kicked and you're on the headstand, you're going to learn how to be able to catch. Now this is by far one of the easiest parts, but it can also be tricky if you overthink it. So when you kick up from the halo, you're going to be in a headstand position more or less. When you come back down, you want to come back down at the angle of a baby freeze. So essentially it's a simple coming down, but you have to make sure it's controlled and your leg is ready to either kick for a second halo, transition to another power move, or to stop it at another baby freeze. A good exercise to practice for this catching, if you have problems with it, is literally just doing headstand to baby freeze. So practicing from here, and getting ready to kick. Another exercise you can do if you're comfortable with kicking is doing headstand and a re-kick for a halo. Or now that you've actually learned how to do and you're comfortable with doing one halo, it's time to move on to two halos and more. Now, essentially, learning multiple halos is it's not that bad. All you have to be comfortable is finding the right position. What I mean by the right position is the stab points. So the first stab point, baby. Second stab point, the elevated chair freeze I was mentioning earlier. In the third stab point, or not really third freeze, would be the headstand. So when you kick for after you finish your first halo, you're going to catch from the headstand. You're going to catch and you're going to re-sweep just like any power moves. You're going to re-sweep in the same fashion as you did in the first halo. And make sure that you keep your legs high, just like an air flip. When you pike your legs, you want to keep your legs high, so that your legs won't drop instantaneously. A lot of people, when it comes to mistakes, a lot of people don't swing enough for the second one, and they end up having this problem. They don't get enough height on the second halo. So remember to, when you're coming down for the second halo, or the third halo, or the fourth halo, maintain that sweep up. Keep swinging, keep swinging. After you put all these techniques and movements together, your halo should look something like this. Alright, so that was the halo tutorial. Before we end the video, I want to first say a shout out to B-Boy Jeremy, as well as his CoolAznTutorials channel. Make sure you subscribe, pop a like or a comment below if you have any questions, anything. I'll try to get back to you on that. And just have fun with the halo. It's an amazing move, and it's definitely will enhance your arsenal of moves in the overall. So, peace.